Rain poured down like the sky was crying with her. Nia sat alone in her car, parked outside the house that used to be hers, the house she built with her husband, Marcus. The lights were still on inside, but they no longer belonged to her. In the back seat, her life was stuffed into black trash bags, clothes, old photos, and a few pieces of what used to be her dreams. She had just been kicked out, hours after signing the final divorce papers. Her phone buzzed again, another social media notification. Marcus had already posted a picture with his new girlfriend, smiling like he had never shared a single tear with Nia. The caption read, "New beginnings." She turned off her phone. Her heart felt numb. Nia drove to a small motel at the edge of town, hoping to get a room for the night. She handed over her card, but the receptionist shook her head. Declined. Nia tried another card, same result. She stared at the screen, her throat tightening. Her accounts were empty. Marcus had won everything in the divorce. With nowhere else to go, she parked near a 24-hour diner. The neon lights flickered across her face as she watched strangers come and go. People with somewhere to be, someone waiting for them. She had no one. The rain kept falling, soft at first, then harder, until it drowned out everything except the sound of her own breathing. She rested her forehead against the steering wheel and whispered, "How did I get here?" For a long time, she sat there in silence. The woman who had once planned luxury events for others, now sitting in a car filled with garbage bags. But just when she thought her story was over, fate was already waiting for her inside that diner. She didn't know it yet, but the next stranger she was about to meet would change everything. Nia was a successful event planner, known for her charm, kindness, and creativity. She had a natural talent for turning simple ideas into beautiful memories. Clients loved her, and her calendar was always full. She worked long hours but didn't mind. She was building a name for herself. That was how she met Marcus. He was a small business owner struggling to keep his company alive. He had charm and ambition, and at first he made her feel like the most important woman in the world. Nia believed in him so deeply that she used her own savings to help him start fresh. Together, they built his business from nothing. When they got married, she thought her life was perfect. She imagined growing old with him, building a family, maybe buying a home by the beach one day. But slowly, everything began to change. After the wedding, Marcus started making all the decisions. He told her it was better if he handled the finances since numbers stressed her out. At first, Nia didn't mind, she trusted him. But then he began controlling everything. Her credit cards, her work schedule, even her friends. He told her some of them were jealous or a bad influence. One by one they stopped calling. Her once bright world grew smaller and smaller. When she suggested returning to work full-time, Marcus said, "You don't need to. I make enough for both of us." But it wasn't about money, it was about purpose. Nia missed the spark she felt when creating events that made people smile. Still, she stayed quiet to avoid fights. Then came the whispers, late nights, locked phones, and excuses that didn't make sense. Nia wanted to believe he was faithful, but deep down, she knew something was wrong. One night, she found a message on his phone from another woman. Her hands shook as she read it. When she confronted him, Marcus didn't even deny it. He said it was her fault, that she'd changed, that she was too emotional. Those words broke something inside her. The divorce that followed was brutal. Marcus hired an expensive lawyer, who twisted every truth. They painted Nia as unstable, irresponsible, even greedy. By the end of the trial, she walked out of the courtroom with nothing. No money, no house, no business, and no dignity. Her car became her new home. She slept in the back seat under an old blanket, using public restrooms to clean up before going out to look for small jobs. Anything to buy food or gas. Sometimes she helped at small parties or washed dishes at restaurants just to survive. On her loneliest nights, she would drive to the cemetery to talk to her mother. She'd sit beside the grave, whispering softly, "Mom, I don't know what to do anymore. But I promise, I'll start over somehow." She'd stay there for hours, talking about the dreams she lost and the woman she used to be. The wind would blow through the trees, almost as if her mother was listening. Days turned into weeks, and the weight of failure sat heavy on her shoulders. Yet deep down, Nia still had a small flame inside her, a quiet voice that told her not to give up. She didn't know how, but she would find a way to rebuild her life. She just didn't realize that the path to her new beginning was already waiting. One she could never have imagined. Nia spends her mornings at a small cafe, sitting near the corner where there's a plug to charge her phone. It's warm, quiet, and the staff don't mind her staying for hours as long as she buys a cup of coffee. This place had become her little escape, a break from sleeping in her car and pretending everything was fine. One morning, while she's scrolling through job ads on her cracked phone, she notices an older man watching her from a few tables away. He's well-dressed, wearing a gray suit, a neat tie, and polished shoes. After a while, he stands up, walks over, and politely asks, "Excuse me, are you Nia Carter?" The name startles her. No one has called her that in years. Since marrying Marcus, she had used his last name. Yes," she says carefully. "Do I know you?" The man smiles softly and sits down across from her. "My name is Robert Harrison. I'm an attorney. I've been looking for you." Nia frowns. "For me? Why?" He places a brown envelope on the table and says, "It's about a Mr. William Carter." Nia blinks in confusion. "Who is that?" Mr. Harrison hesitates for a moment, then answers, "He recently passed away. And according to his will, you are listed as his only heir." For a second, Nia just stares at him. Then she laughs, a short, tired laugh. Is this some kind of joke? Or a scam? Because if it is, you picked the wrong person. "I don't even have a place to live right now." Mr. Harrison doesn't look offended. Instead, he opens the envelope and pulls out a few papers, official-looking documents, all neatly stamped and signed. He shows her a copy of her birth certificate. Under father, it says William Carter. Nia's breath catches. Her hands tremble as she touches the paper. "That's impossible. My mom never told me anything about this." "I understand this is shocking," Mr. Harrison says gently, "but everything has been verified. Mr. Carter arranged this before his death. His estate has been legally transferred to you." Nia shakes her head, trying to process his words. "Transferred? You mean money?" "Yes," he says. "His assets total approximately $30 million. And it all belongs to you now." The cafe suddenly feels too small, too bright. Nia's heart races. $30 million? That couldn't be real. She feels dizzy, clutching the edge of the table. "I don't understand," she whispers. "Who was he? Why would he leave that to me?" Mr. Harrison looks at her kindly. "Because, Miss Carter, he was your father." Nia goes silent. The sounds of the cafe, the clinking cups, the quiet chatter, the soft music, fade into the background. She stares at the lawyer, her mind spinning with questions she doesn't know how to ask. Her father? The man she never met? The man her mother never mentioned? Tears fill her eyes, but she doesn't even know why she's crying. From shock, confusion, or the strange ache of realizing that someone she never knew might have cared about her after all. Mr. Harrison slides a business card toward her. "I'll give you time to think, but I assure you this is real. When you're ready, contact my office. There's more to explain." He stands up, gives her a gentle nod, and leaves the cafe. Nia sits frozen, staring at the documents on the table. Her coffee has gone cold. The world outside keeps moving. Cars passing, people talking, rain beginning to fall again. But for Nia, time feels like it has stopped. A few hours ago, she was just another woman trying to survive. Now she's the heir to a fortune, and the daughter of a man she never knew existed. And deep down, she feels something she hasn't felt in a long time. The beginning of hope mixed with fear of what's to come. Nia undergoes all the legal checks and paperwork. Every document is verified, every signature confirmed. Weeks later, the lawyer calls her again. It's official. The inheritance is real. The money has been transferred to her account. $30 million. For a long time, she just stares at her phone screen, watching the balance, blinking again and again. After everything she's been through, it doesn't feel real. She cries quietly, not out of joy, but disbelief. Her life changes overnight. The same woman who once slept in her car now moves into a beautiful apartment overlooking the city. The place has tall glass windows, white furniture, and a view of lights that stretch for miles. The lawyer, Mr. Harrison, helps her set up a financial advisor and teaches her how to manage her assets safely. At first, it feels like freedom. She can finally breathe again. She buys new clothes, a new phone, and fresh flowers for her apartment. But deep down, she feels a strange emptiness. No amount of money can fill the loneliness that's been with her for years. Soon, the news of her sudden wealth spreads. Social media explodes with gossip. Strangers dig into her life, posting old photos, speculating about her story. Some call her lucky, others call her a liar. Journalists wait outside her building. Then Marcus shows up. One evening, Nia returns home and finds him standing by the entrance, holding a bouquet of flowers. "Nia, please," he says softly. "Can we talk?" She freezes. The sight of him still makes her chest tighten, but this time she feels stronger. "What are you doing here?" she asks coldly. "I heard what happened," he says. "I was stupid. I made mistakes. But we were good together once. I just want to make things right." Nia almost laughs. "Make things right? You left me with nothing, Marcus. You destroyed me in court." He sighs and steps closer. "I was angry. I thought you ruined my business, but maybe we can start over. I miss you." She looks him straight in the eye. "You miss my money." His face hardens, but he quickly hides it with a smile. "That's not fair, Nia. I still care about you." "Leave, Marcus," she says, walking past him. "Before I call security." "Leave, Marcus," she says, walking past him. "Before I call security." He leaves, but not quietly. Within days, he begins posting online, twisting the truth, claiming that Nia stole his business contacts and that her success is built on his work. Reporters pick up his story. Suddenly, she's being called a fraud, a manipulator, a gold digger. The stress becomes too much. She stops going out. Even in her luxury apartment, she feels trapped, as if the walls are closing in. Mr. Harrison visits her one afternoon with an envelope in his hand. "This was written by your father," he says gently. "He wanted you to have it once the inheritance was finalized." Her hands shake as she opens it. The letter is old and carefully written in faded ink. "My dearest Nia, if you're reading this, it means I've gone. I tried to find you for years, but your mother kept you away from me. I don't blame her. I made mistakes, terrible ones. I was part of a world that could have hurt you. She did what she thought was right. All I wanted was to make sure you were safe, and that someday, you would have the life you deserve. Please forgive me, even if you never understand why I stayed away. Your father, William Carter." Tears roll down Nia's face as she reads. She feels a storm of emotions: anger at her mother for hiding the truth, sadness for the father she never got to meet, and guilt for the years they lost. She visits her mother's grave again that evening. The rain falls softly as she kneels beside it. "Why didn't you tell me?" she whispers. "You let me think I had no one." For a moment, she feels only silence. Then she remembers her mother's words. "I did everything to protect you." And maybe Nia thinks that was true. Maybe her mother had just been scared. But the world outside doesn't stop attacking her. Marcus keeps spreading rumors, claiming he has proof that she used his company's contacts to get rich. News outlets publish lies, and people she barely knows start reaching out, pretending to care. That's when Nia decides to fight back. She hires her own lawyer, Tasha, a sharp, confident woman with a fearless attitude. From the first meeting, Nia knows she's found an ally. "We'll handle Marcus," Tasha says. "He won't get away with this." Together, they start collecting evidence. Old emails, business records, and messages showing how Marcus manipulated her during their marriage. But even as she takes control, Nia struggles inside. She has everything she once dreamed of, yet she still feels broken. Every time she looks at her reflection, she sees the woman who lost everything, not the millionaire people talk about online. Her new life is supposed to be perfect, but it feels like a cage made of glass. Everyone can see her, judge her, talk about her. No one knows the pain behind her smile. And though she doesn't realize it yet, the truth about her inheritance, and Marcus's lies, is about to explode in ways that will change her life again. Nia uncovers that her father didn't just leave her money. He also left behind something far more powerful. While going through old files and letters Mr. Harrison had given her, she finds a small flash drive hidden inside a folder marked, "To be opened only by Nia." When she opens the files, her heart starts to race. Inside are hundreds of documents, bank records, and transaction logs, all connected to her father's old business dealings. But what shocks her most is that several of those transactions lead straight to Marcus's company. At first, she doesn't understand. Why would her father's past be tied to Marcus? Then she looks deeper and realizes the truth. Marcus's company had been used to clean, or launder, money from her father's old empire. Years before she even met Marcus. He probably never knew, but when he expanded his company, he began using the same illegal connections. It all clicks together. The inheritance wasn't just about wealth. It was a message. Her father had left her not only the money, but also the evidence she needed to make things right and clear his name. It was his final act of redemption. Nia calls her lawyer, Tasha, and shows her everything. They spend nights going through files, piecing together the truth. Tasha looks at her and says, Nia, this is enough to bring him down. Not just Marcus but everyone involved. Marcus, unaware that Nia now holds proof of his crimes, continues to attack her online. He accuses her of being a thief, and even files a lawsuit claiming she stole company data during their marriage. The media goes wild again, and Nia becomes the center of a public scandal. But this time she's not scared. She's ready. In court, Marcus walks in with his expensive lawyer, confident as ever. He smirks when he sees Nia. You really think you can win this, Nia? He says under his breath. You've always been too emotional. She looks at him calmly. Not anymore. As the hearing begins, Marcus's lawyer speaks first, painting Nia as unstable and greedy. The room listens quietly, until it's Nia's turn. Tasha stands up and begins her statement, her voice firm. Your Honor, the defense will present evidence that not only clears my client, but also exposes financial crimes tied to the plaintiff's company. Whispers fill the courtroom. Marcus frowns, confused. Then Nia stands and takes the stand herself. Her voice shakes at first, but she gathers strength with each word. She explains how her father tried to find her, how he left her the inheritance, and how she discovered the truth hidden in his records. Tasha presents the documents, clear evidence that Marcus's company had been laundering money for years, using accounts that matched those in her father's files. The judge studies the papers, his expression growing stern. Marcus tries to interrupt. This is a setup. She's lying, he shouts, his face turning red. But Tasha doesn't back down. The files are verified by multiple banks. Mr. Carter's confession, found in his private letters, matches every transaction. Your company wasn't just corrupt, it was built on stolen money. The courtroom falls silent. The judge orders an immediate investigation. Within minutes, Marcus's calm, confident act falls apart. He's caught in his own web of greed. Days later, the authorities confirm everything. Marcus's company is seized, his assets frozen, and he's arrested for financial fraud and embezzlement. When the news breaks, the same media that once called Nia a fraud now praises her courage. From victim to victor, the headlines say. After the trial, Nia steps outside the courthouse. Cameras flash, reporters shout her name, but she barely hears them. Her heart feels heavy and light at the same time. Tasha touches her arm gently. You did it, she says. Nia's eyes fill with tears. She looks up at the sky and whispers. He tried to destroy me, but in the end, my truth destroyed him. For the first time in years, she feels peace. Not because Marcus was punished, but because justice was finally served. The world now sees her not as a broken woman, but as a survivor who fought back and won. And deep inside, Nia knows her father's final gift wasn't the money. It was the strength to reclaim her life and her name. Nia donates part of her inheritance to support shelters for divorced and abused women. She wants to help women who, like her, were left with nothing and no one to turn to. Watching those shelters grow gives her a sense of peace she hasn't felt in years. It feels good to give back, to turn her pain into something that can heal others. With Tasha's help, she also starts rebuilding her event planning business. But this time, it's not about fame or big clients. She creates a small company that focuses on helping women start fresh, offering jobs, training, and confidence. The women who once felt invisible now walk into her office with hope in their eyes. Nia tells them, if I can start over, so can you. Her days are full again, but in a peaceful way. She still misses her mother and sometimes thinks of Marcus, but the hurt no longer controls her. She's stronger now. Softer, wiser, but stronger. One morning, Mr. Harrison visits her again. He brings a small envelope with her name written in her father's handwriting. He wanted you to have this once everything was settled, he says with a kind smile. Nia opens the letter carefully. Inside are a few short lines written in her father's neat handwriting. My dearest Nia, I know I cannot change the past. I made mistakes and I hurt people. But you are my second chance at doing something right. I hope you use this gift to bring light into the world. Not because you owe it to me, but because it's who you are. With love, your father, William Carter. Tears roll down her cheeks as she folds the letter gently. She doesn't feel anger anymore, just love and forgiveness. A few days later, she drives to the cemetery where her father is buried. The air is calm, and the sky is painted with soft orange light. She kneels beside his grave, places a single white flower on the stone, and whispers, "You gave me more than money. You gave me back my name." She sits there quietly, smiling through her tears. She thinks of her mother, of the woman she once was, and of the woman she has become. For the first time in years, she feels whole. When she stands to leave, a gentle breeze passes through the trees, as if her father is saying goodbye. Nia walks back to her car, the sun warming her face, knowing this isn't the end of her story. It's just the beginning of a new one. One built on strength, love, and peace. Nia walks through a park at sunrise, sipping her coffee. The air is cool and soft, and for the first time in a long while, she feels completely at peace. Birds sing in the trees, and sunlight touches the grass with gold. Her life isn't perfect, but it's hers. She sits on a bench and watches the world wake up. A mother jogs past with her baby stroller. An old man feeds the pigeons. Everything feels simple, calm, and beautiful. Nia takes a deep breath and smiles. Her voice, gentle and reflective, plays like a voiceover. Sometimes life takes everything from you, just to show you who you really are. Her phone buzzes. It's a message from Tasha. You made Forbes. From homeless to millionaire philanthropist. Nia laughs softly. She shakes her head, smiling as she types back. I'm just Nia. Finally. She puts her phone away and looks at the rising sun. The light touches her face, warm and bright, a quiet symbol of her freedom. For a long moment, she just sits there, no noise, no chaos, no pain. Just peace. She's not running anymore, not fighting to prove herself. She's free. Free from her past, free from fear, free to live. As the camera slowly pans up to the sky, the world feels full of hope, calm, golden, and alive. Fade out. Text on screen. Sometimes the hardest battles lead to the most beautiful freedom. Hey besties, thanks for watching all the way to the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.